Hi everyone, my name is Sasa Vann and I'm using this medium to share my voice and work that I've created while in academia. So I'm going to share a little bit of information on cognition and emotion that I've learned and what that means for a student, what that means for myself, and hopefully you can take some little tidbits from this video that'll help you if you're in an academic setting or if you're just trying to figure out what this current climate means for you cognitively and emotionally. And so I'll get started just by saying I often must cognitively, physically, and emotionally navigate different spaces, the spaces that I occupy, not because of the identities I hold, but because of oppressive environments that often stimulate and encourage violence and exclusion based on the identities that I hold. And so, how society constructs oppressive ideations through stereotypes, becoming beliefs, and schemas informs the concept that oppressive cognitions can be altered, even if they have been stored in our long-term memory. So that's a great thing, meaning that people can change. And our memories, long and short term, they connect us to our emotions and inform our behaviors, but our memories are not infallible information systems. Misinformation impacts that system, and that's something that sometimes we can control, but oftentimes we cannot. And so, in terms of thinking about being a counseling psychologist, which I am training to become, detailed record keeping for your clients is critical. It's critical for that reason of our memory not being infallible. In addition, continuing to examine where our information comes from and how we react to the information we receive is so essential. It's an essential measure of our client care that provides a means for us to attend to potential errors in our memory. So, sort of like your own little guide on memory and a way for you to be able to check yourself, which is extremely important. Acknowledgement of our biases and familiarity with yourself will allow for higher objectivity, because nothing is 100% objective. And so that is so critical when we're engaging with participants in research, when we are engaging with clients, and when we're just thinking about ourselves, acknowledging that we are not objective. We have our own subjective experiences, and how our clients and participants experience us may also alter our interactions with each other. So that might be peer-to-peer, it might be a supervisor that you have, or someone that you are in a romantic relationship with. And so my clients do not always know the multiple identities and roles that I hold outside of the counseling room. They may attend to the way that I dress, the way that I speak to them, but those are external expressions of myself, and they may not always align with held biases that they have of what a Black woman looks like, which means they may need more data. They may need to know something else about me to know me fully. And in some cases, adding to their schema of my identity can be a useful experience for them and a way for me to expand their view of what insert identity looks like. So given the various biases and episodic memory clients have experienced, sharing my identities with my clients is not always essential or useful for their development and treatment, but if I didn't feel the need, there wasn't a clinical need for me to self-disclose in that way, or if it didn't feel safe for me to do so. So if you're watching this and you're a counseling psychologist and you're saying, for me to disclose an intimate identity might not be safe, that is 100% valid, and you should listen to yourself. You can use books or case studies as an example with your clients to address perhaps discriminatory or unhealthy beliefs they hold about themselves or someone else. When I'm in the role of a client, because I myself go to counseling, I don't typically desire that sense of self-disclosure from my counselor, because of my experience. And sometimes I'll attune to someone else's experience more, and that lends me to take on the role of a counselor or a listener in a way that disconnects me from the process of being a client, which isn't something I would want as a client. So it's really good to know your own beliefs and values and how that might impact yourself and others. In addition, some of my culture and my own experiences and how those have formed my memory, they've also impacted my level of vulnerability with others, which can sometimes lead to a bias. So it's important to always be acknowledging those and knowing that those might be informing how I react to something emotionally, or my general perception. So really good things to be aware of. And as a counselor, I advocate for deepening affect and emotion focused therapy. But I realize that there is also the space for people to not feel that they always have to be in the depths of their emotion. And so it's really good to recognize that there will be ebbs and flows with therapy, and that's just the way it is. So just to sort of close us out here, as I reflect on my biases and how that might impact my future work as a counselor and a researcher, my sort of the thing that is foundational for all of that is self-care, and to remember that there are numerous ways in which I can take on these different roles and still care for myself. And I can educate my clients and use research from research participants and create these links so that people know that I'm culturally humble. There are things that I know and there are things that I don't know, and I'm willing to acknowledge that. I'm also really clear and desire for people to make the connection to their body, to that physiological side that brings together the body and the mind. And I remember that each person has their episodic memory. They have their schemas of how they view themselves. And some of those things can be primed, and that'll alter how they view and interpret the information that I am giving to them. So I reflect on that, and that allows me to feel a greater sense of comfort in all the unknowns, especially now with everything that's happening, being in a triple pandemic and knowing that there are many, many unknowns. So I hope that knowledge and just knowing that basically there are a lot of things we don't know, and we're all just trying to figure it out. We're trying to gain a better understanding of ourselves, and that's the best way to be able to examine how we can interact with other people. So I hope that you found this useful today. I'm going to continue to be recording myself and finding ways that I can present information to people that I've been researching and that I've been thinking about, because I think there is a disconnect between the information that so many people have and hold and the information that everyone knows about. And so sometimes it can be like siloed off, where this group of individuals knows all about this and then they make assumptions that everyone over there knows, but that's not necessarily the case. The information is kept in different pockets. So I want to remove some of those barriers for individuals and continue to use this space. So like and watch my other videos, and I look forward to seeing y'all again.